going on, guys? Creative King here, back again for another Apex Legends video, and today I am bringing you 10 tips you need to know for Apex Legends Season 13, Saviors. Now, this is actually a different kind of video. It's not gameplay, but I'm actually giving tips, and this is a new series I plan to start on the channel, where I will be going over lots of things you need to know for the start of each season. I'll be doing gun tier lists and weapon tier lists as well, and even a whole ranked guide if you guys are interested in that. Just gotta let me know what you guys are interested in seeing me produce down below in the comment section. But today, I'm bringing you the 10 tips you need to know for Apex Legends Season 13. So, jumping right in, we're gonna start off with number 1, map rotations. Now, with the start of Saviors, the map rotation has changed. Kings Canyon has been removed, and World's Edge has been put back into the map rotations pool. Also, the 2-hour duration of maps being in has also been removed, so you shouldn't see a map in for more than an hour and a half, I believe is the max. Which I think is a good change, definitely, because no one wants to play as 2 hours of Storm Point on pubs. But yeah, World's Edge is back, Kings Canyon is gone, and of course Storm Point and Olympus are still there. But of course for the first week of the season, it's just going to be all Storm Point. Not much we can do there except play it and check out the new POIs, I guess. Which will move me into the second portion of the map rotations. Storm Point has had a huge overhaul this season. If you guys don't already know, we have the addition of 4 IMC Armory Vaults scattered throughout the map, as well as the new Downed Beast POI. The armories are amazing, you should take full advantage of them, and the better you do, the better loot you will get. I know some people have said that they are alright and you don't really need to stop by there. It's like, no, if you get to the round 6 and 7 and complete all the tiers of the Spectres, you're gonna get some really high tier gold loot. It's totally worth doing. You just gotta learn how to kill all 7 rounds within the 1 minute time span you get. But if you can complete all 7 rounds, your loot is gonna be killer. Alright, so that wraps up tip number 1. Tip number 2, crafting guns. So we're going in, of course, going into the season 13, it was leaked that the Flatline and the Longbow were going to be replaced by the R301 and the Rampage, and that turned out to be true. So in the Replicator now, the R301 and the Rampage resides, which, hallelujah, we don't have to deal with Rampage on the ground anymore. However, it did come at a cost at the R301. But hey, for the price of 30 crafting materials, you can go in and craft yourself an R3, so be prepared that crafting POIs, anytime you hop into a match, and it's random every match if you don't know, wherever there's a replicator, expect there to be at least a couple teams, because everyone's probably going to want to get their hands on an R301. So that wraps up the gun crafting rotation. Moving right along, we have our care package rotation. And for those who don't know, the Spitfire is back on the ground loot, and it's already been 1 day with it back on the ground, and it's already a menace again. And taking its place was the Mastiff, one of the best shotguns. That and the PK were always dominating the shotgun meta, and if those of you played back in the earlier seasons, remember back when the Mastiff was basically a mini Kraber when that thing was one shot into the head and stuff, y'all will be very happy, because it's still good. It doesn't one-shot headshot, however, the Heirloom Mastiff that's in the care package does indeed two-shot to the body. So, pretty decent care package rotation. I really hope they bring out the G7 and the Volt and put like the Spitfire or the Rampage in its place, but we'll just have to wait and see. But with that, that'll move on to tip number 4, your gold gun rotation. Now, your fully kitted weapon rotation is going to be consisted of the Spitfire, the EVA 8, the Flatline, the Bow, and the P2020. Now, some of those are really good and others of those are kind of meh, but do keep in mind, P2020 with hammer points can shred if you know how to use it. I personally am kind of good with the P2020, so I'm kind of happy it's in the gold weapon rotation that's fully kitted with hammer points, so but that might just be me. However, keep an eye out for those gold guns. Now, if you want to know how to acquire a fully kitted weapon, of course, you land at the hot zones on the map, you'll have a shot at those. But the best way to get them is keep your eye out for the flyers around the map of Storm Point. Because anytime you see a flyer flying around with a death box, if the death box is gold, 9 times out of 10, it'll have a fully kitted weapon in it. Other times, it'll be like a gold bag or an Evo shield. But most of the time, if you kill a flyer that had a gold death box, it'll most of the time drop you one of the fully kitted weapons. Alright, so moving on to tip number 5, and this is where things become a lot more interesting. It is the ranked reloaded changes. Now, at the start of Season 13, we saw lots of changes to ranked. It got completely reworked and completely overhauled. With the addition of Team KP, the addition of Demotion, all sorts of crazy good changes that are honestly going to help ranked overall. Even the addition of the new rookie tier that goes below bronze. And of course a rework to how buy-ins work and how it scales with each tier of the division you're in. Now, a couple of tips that you might not know about these rank changes, and this will help you a lot, because I've seen some posts on Twitter like, hey, yo, I have 9 kills and I'm still negative and I'm in gold lobbies, what's up with that? Remember, in the patch notes it said that if you're not, it's 14 squads or less when the placement for KP starts to take effect on your kills. So, basically, if you have any kills before you're the 14th squad or less, it's basically not going to do anything until you reach that 14 squads left mark or less. Then it will start multiplying and you'll get your standard KP multiplying with placement, and then it will start scaling up to what you're used to. Also, the addition of 5th place and higher being your big goal for ranked is the new spot you want to be to maximize your placement. If you have a ton of kills and it's only the middle of the game for you, I know some of you are going to hate it, but camp. Camp and play safe. Play it like you would if you were ratting, because that's going to be the key there. If you have a ton of KP already, and you're just sitting there, like, why am I only gaining plus 13, or how am I still negative? Sit and wait. Play it safe. If you have the KP, and you know you got plenty, play it safe. Because if you can survive into the top 5, the multiplier is going to shoot up. I've gone from plus 50 RP to plus over 150 RP just by having it transition from 6th place to 5th place. It's a big difference. 5th place and lower are your big placements for your KP multiplier. So be sure to survive to the top 5, and that will help you a ton in climbing the ranks this season. Alright, so moving on to tip number 6, the helmet buff. Helmets received a huge buff at the start of this season, with the blue helmet being increased by 10% in how much it'll negate your damage when being headshot, and then a total whopping 15% for purple and gold helmets. Helmets are actually really important now, so when you're going around looking for evos and stuff, you also got to go around and look for helmets, because helmets are very important now. They will negate a lot more headshot damage than you realize, so don't forget to pick up a higher tier helmet, and don't just forget about it. They're really important to have now. Alright, so moving on to tip 7. The dual shell is no longer on ground loot or in replicator rotations. From my understanding, the only way to acquire the dual shell hop-up itself is on a care package. Now I know what you're gonna say, creative, we already know this, the dual shell's built into the Mastiff now that it's in the care package. I'm talking about the actual hop-up, because keep in mind, the 30-30 repeater can also take dual shell. So I believe, and I haven't seen any of this in the patch notes, I scoured the patch notes and I didn't see any confirmation confirming or denying this, but all it said was it pulled the dual shell from the replicator daily rotations and the loot pool on ground/pill loot. So that leads me to believe that you can get it possibly from the Spectres and the IMC vaults with the smart loot system if you score high enough, or you get it off the care package, because I know sometimes you'll open a care package and you'll see it'll have like a dual shell or a turbocharger on one side, and everyone hates it when you get that, when you would have wished it was a bat or a phoenix kit. I think that might be the only way to acquire the dual shell hop-up this season. If I'm wrong, be sure to let me know in the comments, but as far as I understand, I believe that's the only possible way to acquire dual shell, if you can get it at all this season. Alright, so on to number 8, gun nerfs and buffs. All LMGs got nerfed to the ground in some way, shape, or form, or at least tried to be. We all know how well that turned out for the Spitfire. The Spitfire received quite a few nerfs, and it is still broken as ever. But all LMGs did get some form of nerf, some more than others. The L-Star and the Devotion got nerfed the hardest alongside the Spitfire, and the Rampage got touched a little bit in terms of reload and handling speed. But aside from that, some buffs for weapons. The Havoc got a slight recoil improvement at the start of its pattern, so that's nice. I personally am a huge Havoc user, so I'm very happy to see that. But that pretty much does it for the gun buffs and nerfs of the season. So moving on to the legend buffs and nerfs. Valkyrie received a nerf where she can no longer spin when taking off in her ultimate. And in terms of buffs, we have Rampart getting her wall buff that's been leaked for about half a season now, as well as she got a small buff to Sheila where she can pull it out faster. So overall, really good buffs. Rampart's a solid pick now because you can get those walls up faster and they have more health. Definitely don't sleep on Rampart this season. And lastly, we have Arenas. Now, not much was done to Arenas except there were some price changes. The only thing worth noting in Arenas was the fact that they made all LMGs inside Arenas cost more, and they lowered the price of all the sniper and marksman weapons. So for all of you bow spammers or the triple take spammers that love spamming your snipers and marksmans inside Arenas, they're a lot cheaper for you now. And for all of you who love to just triple stack the turbocharged Devo in Arenas, that's a lot more expensive now. But aside from that, those are the 10 tips that I recommend you pay the most attention to and take note of for the start of this season. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If it was helpful or informative, be sure to let me know by leaving a like down below. It really does help out the channel. And be sure to follow me on Twitter or Instagram. Both those links are in the description down below for you to check out. And lastly, if you want to join the Nerd Herd Discord, that is also linked down below. But anyway guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye everyone!